pleased to welcome in new West Virginia head coach Darian DeVries. And Darren, first of all, congrats, man. How's the move, the adjustment, everything gone? Or you got a new place? You buy a house yet in Morgantown?
Yeah, we're getting there. I've been at the Residence Inn. That's been my new home for the last 40 some days. But we do have a house, and we'll get to move in sometime in June. So that part will be fun to get a little bit of a sense of normalcy again.
So is it just you and the residents in, and the family stayed back at Drake?
Yeah, they're finishing up school and stuff like that. And I have a daughter in high school that's a freshman that is on a traveling basketball team, so they're going to stay, for the summer to finish that up as well. But yeah, it's just been me, and I've been eating out every night. I need to do a little more exercise, and I know that. I actually went to the grocery store to like, oh, I got to quit eating out. And I came back with Tombstone pizzas and chips and dip. So I don't think I helped myself a lot there.
Yeah, those residence inns. I did it for 3 weeks during the bubble. I remember seeing you guys play during the bubble that year, and I was at the Canal in Indy, and man, it was just one bad meal after another. It does not, it doesn't facilitate fine dining or anything like that. So
No,
you'll
I
get
don't think
through
my
it.
I don't think my nutritionist would be very happy with
No,
me.
no, definitely not. You're not. Hey, you're not shooting 41% from three right now like you did back in college at UNI. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, no
Um,
question.
why was West Virginia the right place for you? Because I know you had some other schools that certainly you talked to and that were in the mix. Why was West Virginia the right place for you at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of reasons. I think you started with the administration. I really felt like they were really on board with what it takes to be successful and very much try to help facilitate in any way they can. So that was a big piece. I think the fans and the fan support is critical. When you're at these jobs, and they're hard leagues, and you got to have a home court advantage, and they certainly have that. It's a passionate fan base, and I love that part about it. They really care about their hoops, and so that's exciting. There's support there, in all aspects, and that's critical today. In the recruiting world as well. So I think there's a lot of things that made sense, for us, and that's ultimately why we decided to do it.
I've said like it's really obviously you've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've been in it for however long as well, probably similar amount of time when we got in. It's such a different landscape right now that you take over a program and you kept one guy, right? I don't even remember who it was. Who'd you keep? Who'd you retain?
Yeah, Ofri, it was the guy that decided to stay, and then we had to start building our roster out from there.
How how challenging is it? The only good thing is with the portal, a lot of people, even coaches that are in the same place that are there 5, 6, 10 years, are revamping their roster and flipping it, where they might lose 8, 9, 10 guys. But how challenging is it to go into a new spot that you don't really know with new people, and you got to figure out the collective part, the administrative part. You got to get your staff together. How challenging is it to be able to do this as quickly as you have to? Because if you don't move quickly in the portal, you're not getting dudes. You're not getting the dudes that you want.
Yeah, I think there was a lot that went into it. Yeah, and it does take a while to kind of get your feet on underneath you a little bit. Once we did, I feel great about where we're at now, but it took us a little bit to get there. And 3, 4, 5 years ago, if you only had one guy on the roster, you're in a complete rebuild. But that's not how it is anymore. You can get a whole new roster very quickly, and have a roster that's ready to compete now. So that's the plus and minuses of what we have now with the portal versus 5 years ago. It would have taken you a good 2, 3, 4 years to rebuild with only one guy. Now you can do it immediately.
All right, so you bring one key player with you, your son Tucker. And it's funny because when you got the job, I think I texted you and I'm like, "Is he coming?" You're like, "Yeah, he's in." And I was a little surprised, and only by the fact that I think Tucker's an NBA player. I really do. And he didn't put his name in. He didn't go through the process, anything like that. Talk to me about what it was like to have to convince him, what the NIL component was for him coming over. How did this whole thing work? How did your wife get involved? Take me through it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't. I think there was just kind of an assumption, from him and myself that, and we've talked about it a lot. We talked about different jobs and stuff like that because he does have 1 year left, and I wanted to make sure that he was good with whatever we decided, and ultimately he was it was a no brainer for him too. He was coming wherever we felt like was best, and I'm not sure his agent negotiated him maybe the greatest deal, but no, he's excited and looking forward to this last opportunity and having some fun with it.
And you bring in Small from Oklahoma State, which I thought was a huge get as well, one of the biggest portal gets around there. Having those two play off one another, does it take a little bit of pressure off of Tucker in a way from having to do as much as maybe he had to do with the ball last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're going to win at this level, you need multiple guys, and you got to have a team full of guys that are can all play well together. They're connected. I think that's the biggest key when you're assembling a roster is making sure you're putting together a team and not just a bunch of individuals. And I love the makeup of our roster right now. I think they're all very committed to winning. They're hungry. They're ready to go out and compete. And I can't wait for us to all get started here in a few weeks as we start the summer workouts.
Is it difficult because you got all these guys? Some I don't even know how many you probably recruited like none of them coming out of high school. Maybe one or two, I don't know, but not a lot. You recruited most of these kids from tape and probably talking to other coaches that you know. But until they get there for summer school, it's kind of like you don't know what you nobody does. I mean, for the most part, but especially I think you coming from when you go mid-major to high major, I guess some of these kids are obviously mid-major transfers that transfer up that maybe you did know, but for the most part, again, there's a lot of uncertainty with what you have, other than again, you do your due diligence the best you can.
Yeah, I think what helps though is like maybe I didn't know them personally, but our assistants did in some way, shape, or form. They either coached them or had a relationship before. They had recruited them, at a previous school. So we were pretty intentional about making sure we got the right guys. And again, I feel really good about where our roster's at right now. And like I said, I'm just ready to get to work with them and we've had twice in my 6 years here at Drake, we had where we brought in 9 or 10 new guys. So it's not like it's something new for myself, in terms of having a bunch of new guys coming in and having them try to gel together. I'm kind of excited about that. I think when you get that, you get a lot of energy when you get a group like that, and that's always a lot of fun too.
What do you said it, again, it's different than the rebuild that would have had to happen 10 years ago if you took over a team and had to fill 12 spots. I think you're at 10 right now, you said. I don't know how many more you want to fill. I don't know how, that's the other thing. It's like, what's too many right now because of NIL and everything like that, and the fact that, you know, I think I saw Calipari say something like he only wants like 9 or 10 scholarship players. The rest are going to be, maybe preferred walk-ons, whatever. Have you thought about that, the makeup of your roster and how you want to do it in this day and age?
Yeah, I don't know that anybody really has the right answers in terms of how many freshmen, how many fifth year, fourth year senior guys, and guys in the middle, sophomores, juniors. I don't think there is a magic formula right now. I think it's just again making sure that they kind of fit what you want your program to be about, and making sure that the pieces all connect in the way you want to play, and the style of play you want to do at both ends of the floor, and then piece that roster together accordingly.
Was there a guy that you got that you felt was really undervalued, underrated in the portal? And I don't want you to say like five guys either. Don't give me the coach speak. Give me one guy that you were like, you know what? I think we got to steal with this dude.
Yeah, I, I like them all, and I'm going
Oh, here
to
we
stick to
go.
that.
Here we
I'm going to give
go.
you. I'm
The
giving you
typical
coach.
DeVries answer. Come on, man.
Yes, this is straight. You know the answer you're getting on this one. I like all my guys, so I'm excited about them all.
Even Greg McDermott would have answered that question. All right. Even Mac would
True.
have answered that question. Maybe from the golf course, but he would have answered it.
He would have said Doug,
Yeah, there you go. Yes. He would have said Doug, no doubt. Hey, give me your greatest Greg McDermott story. You worked with him for a while. I mean, the crazy thing I don't think people know about you, like you were there when Dana Altman was at Creighton.
Yeah,
And
two great.
somehow you convinced Mac to keep you when he took over.
Yeah, two great coaches. I mean, you talk about being able to work for two of the best in the game, and Dana Altman and Greg McDermott. I mean, for 20 years I was with those two guys, so that's an incredible blessing for me. I mean, to be able to learn under both of them, and they're both different in the way they approach it, but also similar in the same way, and have the most respect for both those guys.
Have you golfed? Like, were you a golfing buddy of Mac? Did you have to go out and play golf with him?
Mac would always win, so I don't know if that was always the greatest adventure for me. Mac's hard to take down on the course.
Well, he's a big boy. I'm sure he could drive it. I'm sure he could drive it.
He doesn't hit it that far for as big a guy as he is. We always give him a little grief about that.
Um, so rumor has it you own a bunch of supermarkets with your brother or brothers. Is this true?
Yeah, we own some grocery stores, mostly in small towns. When we first got into it, our hometown of Appleton, Parkersburg, Iowa, got destroyed by a tornado. The grocery store and some of the rest of the town as well. So people had approached us about rebuilding the grocery store, and to be honest, we didn't really have that much interest in it, but eventually we got talked into it, and then that led to getting talked into doing a one or two more, and one of them is actually in Mac's hometown too, Cascade, Iowa. So, and then it just kind of grew from there, and it's been for us, my brothers, it's been a fun adventure to be in these small towns where we grew up, across the state, and even had adventured into some other states now as well.
So if I gave you the option of being the West Virginia basketball coach or the Iowa football coach, head Iowa football coach, which would you choose?
I'm kind of like all those post players that want to be guards, and stuff like that. I think it'd be a blast to be a football coach. That'd be a lot of fun. I don't know that we'd win a lot of games, so I don't think the fans would probably appreciate me as their coach, on the football sidelines.
You're an armchair Iowa football coach. Is that you're that guy, aren't you?
I'm a terrific armchair fan. So I certainly appreciate now when fans are critical maybe of me or whatever, because I can be that guy on the sidelines too.
What gets you going? Because you are pretty mild mannered. You're pretty even keel. Give me the one thing that really gets you going. It can be anything on, off the court. Like, I don't know. It could be if, Tucker doesn't, clean up his room or whatever.
I don't know if there's a lot. I think on the basketball side, it is probably just when there's maybe a lack of effort. That's something that maybe makes me tick the most. But in general, you certainly try to stay as even keel as possible. But that might be one that gets to me a little bit.
How do you get like a culture now? Because at Drake, it was easier, right? It was easier. You knew you were going to have guys, and you did for a long period of time. Now you're kind of playing the game, and I don't know if you think about this way, but like it's a year to year deal for the most part with kids, right? You bring them in, and you've got to almost expect like you're going to have them for a year. If you have them for longer than that, that's a bonus. But how hard is it now to try to build that culture? And like you said, I know with the transfers, it's do our due diligence. You know, you know some of these players you're bringing in, your assistants know some of them, but it's much harder now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's certainly challenging because you have so many, so much roster turnover. I still think there's a lot of programs across the country though that do keep the majority of their guys, and that would be our hope is that the kids that come and play for us, they enjoy, the way they're treated every day. They enjoy the program. They enjoy, the community that they're in, and they want to stay. And I feel good that. That we can do that and make it a great experience, for the players that do come. And certainly you're going to have some, that are going to leave and things like that. And that's all part of it. But our hope is we can maintain and keep as many guys as possible for the long term.
So where are we doing this Zoom from right now? Are you back home at Drake?
Yeah, I flew back last night, really late. So back home for in Des Moines here for a few days, and then we'll head back to Morgantown here in a couple of weeks and get started. Get the team will all move in as well. So it's 1st of June we get those workouts going.
How hard is June? Like as a month for coaches, a lot of people think it's like an easy month, but now you guys go out and even the whole I guess off season now, right? You had to go into the portal and you've been out of your mind, especially as a new head coach of a new program. And then June comes around, a lot of people think, "Oh, you can exhale." Right? But you've got camp. I assume you're doing camp in Morgantown now, starting that up. There are a couple, high school weekends that you can go out that I know a lot of people are saying, well, coaches don't need to really go hard after the high school players because all they're going to do is take, 9 transfers every year, something like that. What else is it in June? You got to be with your players. I mean, that's the other thing. You got to be with your players who are on campus because a lot of them don't know you and you don't know them.
I actually love June. I mean, that might be one of my more favorite months of being a coach is that first month of it, getting your team, starting to work with them, starting to get a feel for, whether you had a lot of guys back or a lot of new guys. There's always still new pieces, and trying to that process of figuring out, how do you get it all to fit together. And I think that's the most fun month for me as a coach is that first month. Everybody's excited and ready to go and eager to learn and that's I can't wait. I can't wait because as you said, you get done with the season. It's a long, you're exhausted at the end of the season, and now it's not like it used to be. At least at the end of the season before you go do recruiting and stuff, but it wasn't nearly what it is now. Not near the intensity that it is. So you don't get to take a breath anymore when the season's over. You got to hit it really hard because that's when the portal opens and try to complete and finalize a roster before you get to June. So June's the fun part.
What would you change if you're running college basketball? Give me the one thing. There's a lot of things that I think coaches and us media people would change right now. What's kind of the one thing that I don't know if frustrates you is the right word, but that you would change?
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of things you'd like to tweak. I think the biggest thing is maybe how do you get it so you can sustain kind of a roster a little bit, whether it be like the pro level and things, and because I'm all for everyone getting paid and I think it's great. I think it's long overdue. I just wish there was a way maybe you could get to the point where you sign a 2 or 3 or 4 year deal, where you can have some stability, kind of like a pro roster, whether it be, you know, baseball or basketball or football. I mean, at least then when the kids' contracts up or that you got to go find a replacement, and it's just easier to plan. So I think if I could be in charge and find a way to do that, I think that'd be great. You know, that you could sign actual contracts, and you know, that's the whole employee, you know, debate that you know, everything's right in the middle of. And I think we'll get closer to that at some point. I think, or some semblance of it. But there's a lot bigger powers to be that make those decisions.
You know what I wouldn't mind, and you would have liked this at Drake. I don't know if you'll like it now, but some sort of buyout that when the high major goes and plucks a kid from the mid, that the mid gets some compensation for it.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
to kind of even the playing field a little bit, at least get. Well, you know, you found dudes when you were at Drake. You evaluated and you found guys, right? And then you developed them. And to me, to get something back from that would be kind of cool if you know, whatever, Duke goes in and swoops somebody, or Kansas or Kentucky, they get somebody from the mid major ranks. They have to, you know, whatever that you know, 50 grand, whatever it is, something that the mid major is rewarded for evaluating and developing.
Yeah, it is hard right now when you look at some of the mid-major rosters that you know, it's just so hard to, you know, keep guys. You know, the all conference type guys are really tough to hang on to anymore. And you know, nobody blames the kids. You know, if it was me, I'd be doing the exact same thing. And that's the hard part right now. You know, at that level.
All right. Well, listen, Darren DeVries, new head coach of West Virginia. I'm gonna let you hang with your family. I know you're not there long. I know they haven't seen you a whole lot since you got to Morgantown. So reacquaint yourself with your family, and that's kind of the most important thing right now. But congrats, and tell your son, tell Tucker I said hello.
We'll do that. Thanks, Jeff.